And we're live. Okay,
Excellent.
so thank you again for indulging me.
My
So
pleasure.
introduce yourself.
I'm Anani Lawson. I'm a sommelier and wine influencer. I
And
live in Napa.
you live in Napa. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I decided that this social media engagement or strategy that I had was kind of boring, and I realized the only way to make it interesting to me, and therefore interesting to anyone else, is to go back to my underlying mission as an artist, which is to really savor the colors of the moment, which is really to be present. And the reason why that's so important is because that's when you make the best stuff. That's when you have the most joy. That's when life is at its richest and fullest. And it's actually when you create the most profound and meaningful memories. So I thought I would ask you,
Okay.
when the first time you were ever in San Francisco, did you have a particular moment? Do you remember that where the memory is still vivid, where you were really, really present?
You mean in general?
Just know one particular memory. Like for example, I'll give you an example. I remember the first time that I was ever in San Francisco. I was walking over the Golden Gate Bridge with a college friend, which is a very tourist thing to do. But I had this complete moment of recognition as I looked out over the bay to the city, and I thought, I belong here. I really need to live here. And it
Nice.
wasn't until many years later that I actually did, but I can remember that moment very vividly. And then I had another moment the first time I was ever in Napa Valley. So I just graduated from art school, and I didn't have a lot of money. I certainly didn't have exposure to the finer things in life. So I found myself at the first job I ever had at a design firm, and I was flown to the Meadowood Resort in St. Helena to participate in a creative strategy session. And I remember having my first salad at Meadowood.
Oh, wow.
I
Nice.
had wine tasting lessons every night. I'd never formally tasted wine. I'd never learned anything about it. I'd never been to a restaurant of that caliber. And I can still remember looking down at my salad and thinking, there's a flower in here. There's an edible flower in my salad. And trust you me, the produce in Ohio is not the same as the produce in
True.
California. I felt like I was in, the Garden of Eden eating and drinking. So
Nice.
those were two moments that I had that were very memorable, and I was really present, and I still remember them. So it's obviously something drew, let's just start with Napa. Something obviously drew you here, right, to Northern California. Was there a particular moment that you remember?
I think that overall, when I first moved here, I lived in Santa Rosa, and generally, I love the fact that at 12 a.m., it's still pretty crisp air. It's never too hot. To me, that's really lets me feel like, wow, it's a good place to be.
Was there, do you have a particular moment? Was there one particular when you said, I'm going to live here, or I belong here, or I love this place?
It's usually when I'll be playing tennis in Bennett Valley, and I'll say to myself, wow, this is why I love to live here because it is so everything is perfect. The air is crisp, it's dry, it's beautiful. I'm so comfortable. It's so energizing.
Was there a particular moment, or is it just, do you have just a general memory,
It, it's just
general?
a it's just a general feeling that I don't have that feeling every single time when I'm out there, but those back in the days, that's what really confirmed to me that I wanted to be here, and I started to teach tennis before I got into wine.
Right, right. Okay. So really that's the extent of my question. What I'm doing is I'm just surveying people about different moments that they had and where they were really present. Like for example,
Right.
I talked to somebody from the Napa Valley Visitors Bureau, a young lady from the PR department, and she said she lives in San Francisco and she drives to Napa to work. And she said the first time she ever drove over the Golden Gate Bridge, she noticed the expansiveness of the water and the
Right.
ocean unfolding before her. And she said she still appreciates that moment when she drives from the Golden Gate over the Golden Gate Bridge towards the Napa Valley. So really what I'm doing is I'm collecting these experiences with people just to kind of get a perspective beyond my own about what was really memorable and meaningful for people in these landscapes, which are some of the most extraordinary landscapes in all, well, certainly in the United States, but in all of the world. So that's the project.
Right. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I have so many of them, and on the spot, I'm trying to pick one that resonates more than another.
Just use
I
pick
have to
what
tell
comes to
you
your
when I,
mind. If you just, it's not a
okay,
thinking thing; it's a feeling thing.
sure. I mean, when I drive into San Francisco and I park somewhere off Lombard, like right when I get off the Golden Gate
When's the
past
last
the,
time you did that? These people
that was
struggle
like
with
what,
this.
six
They
months ago.
struggle with like thinking of a moment. Can't think of one moment.
Wow, one single moment.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Okay,
Last
so
memory. It
I
says
took the
people.
ferry. I took the ferry, and I was approaching the ferry building. Took the ferry from
This is
Napa.
recently.
Yeah, like 6 weeks ago.
Okay, so 6 weeks ago you took the ferry over onto the bay, and you're approaching
Exactly.
the ferry building, which is
And-
stunning.
Which is stunning. And I was looking at the city, and then I said, "Wow, this is a very special place. This is no matter what meetings I was going to have were ahead of me, I was thinking to myself, man, I really need to move into the city. In fact, I told you that I want to move into the city because I feel like, why not live here?
Right? That's what
You
everyone's
know?
thinking. That's why our rent's so expensive. So when you're on the bay, what did you notice? Like what was your what did you notice? What do you remember now about that moment of being on the ferry, on the bay, approaching
Well,
the
I,
building?
I remember that everyone on the ferry was sort of feeling like I was feeling, like they can't wait to get off the ferry and go and really soak the experience of the city uh, that morning. And it was just exhilarating. And when I got off the ferry and then onto in the ferry plaza area, just the throng of people, the energy was stimulating like I haven't felt before.
It's an interesting contrast because it's so peaceful and beautiful to take the ferry into San Francisco and to see the Golden Gate Bridge on one side of you and the Bay Bridge on the other side of you. And there's this whole serene connection with nature that you experience on that ride. And then you get off the pier and enter into this beautifully historically restored building. And you're right, it's just this hustle and bustle of people and energy and really beautiful and really high quality offerings within that building. So that retail is I'm not a big shopper, but that is a
Right.
beautiful collection of highly curated retailers and merchants in that building.
Yeah, the juxtaposition of the beauty of nature all around you, and then the city itself, just from that entry point, it fits. It's like this couldn't have been planned or executed even better.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so there's your moment. See, you had one. So
You have
that
to
the point of this
know when to
project
draw it
is to
out.
really just help, as a painter, I have to be very present and very powerfully present in order to paint. And there's a great deal of joy that I experience from that. And so it's an invitation to just be more present and mindful of your environment, not only your external environment, but your inner environment. So thank you for participating. I promised you it'd be under 3 minutes, and it is.
Excellent. Well, thank you, and
You're
looking
welcome.
forward to the next one.
I will keep you up to date on the whole campaign.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Great job. Thank
Bye.
you. Okay.